Right, welcome to the Lonely Carver podcast, episode 3, featuring Doug Kirby. Right, just a little warning, may contain strong language, so you have been warned. Right, welcome Doug. It's great to have you on the podcast. Looking forward to hearing your journey.
Thanks for having me. I'll try to keep the language to a minimum.
Good, good. So basically the question we always ask is, how did you get into it, mate?
Carp fishing was a bit of a random one. I started float fishing and somehow came across a dragon carp leaflet and bought an entire set for £99 and hoped for the best.
As we do.
We
all have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Set up the resi where we all started and it all went from there.
Nice. So, what's your, obviously, so far on your journey, what's been obviously your most memorable catcher? Tell us a little bit about it.
Most memorable. It's going to have to be my first UK 40. There's something special about getting your first UK 40. I know the discussion you had with Mickey about the French versus the UK, but the French, the average size over there is bigger, so I think they are more rewarding in the UK to get a UK 40.
Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet, mate.
So
I haven't had me 40 yet in the UK. To be honest, I haven't had a 30 in the UK.
Oh yeah?
Nah, still there. I said to Mickey this. I don't really do well in England for some reason. I don't know what I do. I seem to fish. Feel like I fish well, but I just can't get them big uns.
I'm on a 3-session blank now, so we'll agree the UK is getting harder.
I think it's just overpressured, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's every venue's just got so many pegs crammed in as well.
Yeah. It's getting more and more clicky on every lake you go on, which is a reason I am starting to do a bit more over France now, big wild lakes and having a bit more water to yourself without people coming over every 10 seconds.
Yeah. And I'm going to be joining Doug this year to France, my first adventure. He's told me I have to buy a boat, which I'm not happy about.
But bit scared of the snakes and the wild boar as well, but it'll be all right.
So yeah, like I say, we're actually in Doug's picture gallery at the minute. He's got some on the wall, and he's got some bangers, absolutely beauties. Which one's up there, mate? I think you just mentioned Essex Quarry.
Yeah, there's Essex Quarry from a few years ago before I went back to Syndicate. I've got quite a lot from Sandhurst on there. My first ever trip to France, and then my new French PB of 55, which I had last year. He's
been a bit thingy here as well. When he's talking about Sandhurst, he's not actually dropping in that he's actually caught the armadillo, which is absolutely a sought after fish.
It's I feel like it's changing now. I had it 3 years ago, and it was never really out. It was once every sort of like 2 years, so it never really appeared. I'd never seen it in the 10 years I was fishing there, but since I've had it, I think I've seen it's been out in the last 3 years about 6 times.
It's a very impressive fish, though, mate.
Yeah, it's putting a lot of weight on now as well.
Very. Now he's got some bangers on the wall. Some stunners. Oh yeah, there's the French one. I actually was at work when Doug sent me the French carp. I couldn't stop showing everyone.
So, some highs and lows to that session.
Go on, I have to tell us now. You can't leave it there.
Yeah, first night, lost all 3 rods and alarms. It was a bit of a savage take, which actually ripped the screws straight out the decking. Just seeing a little green glow in the water at the bottom of the decking, like to jump in, and luckily I got everything back. Bent round into the carp, and it cut me off in the snags. So that was a bit of a bummer to the start of that session, but brought it back.
I remember you actually telling me this. I was about your rods and your alarms.
If I lived in the UK, I'd have gone home. it was one of them moments where there was a good few £1,000 gone in the lake there, and it was a bit touchy whether it was going to be all right or not. And
to make, obviously, a bit worse, obviously, when Doug messaged me, I actually saw it on someone else's social media as well, so then I knew it was Doug that morning. Obviously, he had the pleasure to share the lake with James Armstrong, so yeah, and obviously I watched James, and James said one of the lads has actually lost his pod in the water this morning, and I rang Doug, I said, it wasn't you, was it? He said, "Yep." So it's a memory. You'll remember it though.
Yeah, I've got everything back. Um, I actually ended up getting snapped off twice that session in the snags. Fishing nowhere near them, but in that lake, they're just absolute machines. They're towing 40 yards of line before you even get your rod up, and they know exactly where they're going. I actually had one where I got cut off, and me and James had the discussion. He thought I'd spliced my leader wrong, and it actually cut the lead-free leader straight through the middle. And even he said he'd never seen that before.
Mad. It's all fun and games though. So, Doug, obviously you started and you've been on your own journey, but like anglers that have influenced you, do you take any inspiration off other anglers or?
A little bit. I don't enjoy watching fishing anymore. I feel like a lot of it's not like it used to be, where you'd watch anglers fishing and appreciate the history of Yateley or the rarity of some of the fish in Essex Quarry. Now it's all just about pushing gear down your throat.
Right.
So I tried to stay away from watching it, but back in the day, yeah, I mean, Darryl Peck, unbelievable.
Yeah, amazing.
He's not necessarily the biggest encoder in the limelight, but I don't think anybody can fish at the distances he can, at the accuracy he can from there. And some of these missions he goes on are absolutely crazy compared to the likes of Dovey and Spooner, both amazing anglers, but they're like they're the faces of Corder, where I don't feel like the likes of Pecky gets the attention he should.
Yeah, he's a very very good angler, and distance, like you say. I think he's got a program coming out. I think it's him and Terry Edmonds. I think
came out last week.
Did it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Fishing about 35 wraps, I think it was.
Wow. Yeah, I was struggling at 15 the other day. But yeah, so you don't really get influence then, or no?
I'd say at the start, when you're starting up, it's easy to get influenced by just about anybody. It's always fun to watch the likes of Alan Blair, like you have all mentioned, who just get to buzz off absolutely anything through it. But
so if you had to pick one, you'd like to go fishing with Pecky.
If I could pick one person, it'd be Pecky.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
he keeps it simple as well, which is always a good thing. He's a boilie angler. He keeps his rig simple, and he does his own thing, and he doesn't really get too pulled in with it by anything. So
yeah. Well, I actually opened it up for questions as well, and obviously had a few questions and that sent in, and one that came up, actually, I've written it down to do technology on fishing, and I think Black and White Carper said, do you think bait boats? I think Doug's a fan of the bait boats, and I can see why I like it. Obviously, I lost that one fishing the way I should have been fishing this week, and if I had a bait boat, I probably would have fished a bit better, but hey, that's a different story. But so what's your technology, Doug?
Technology. I think as long as you're not abusing it in a way that it upsets or ruins anybody else's trip, then you're an idiot not to use it. It's not cheating. If you class a bait boat as cheating, then stop using bite alarms. Do you know what I mean? Stop using cameras, because it's all technology. You've still got to tie your own rigs. You've still got to find the fish. You've still got to land the fish. The likes of me, who gets finished at work at 5 o'clock at night, I get to the lake for 6, and I'm leaving at 9 the next morning. So in short sessions, to be able to just whip your boat out, drop 3 rigs with no disturbance, get your bait accurate, it's you're saving yourself another hour of preparation that you're adding to your fishing. Yeah,
it's certainly an edge, I think, mate. Certainly an edge. I think you said move with the technology. I think you're right. I think I need to start moving myself, to be honest. I've seen other people fish like yourself, and I think it's amazing when you were getting them out, even just like Welham. As soon as you seen one shore, you were just straight on it with the boat, and the results paid off straight away.
Yeah, like I say, I agree to a degree. I mean, I was on Sandhurst last week, and there was lads on there who had a drone on, which obviously permission of the owner, but that's up for 10 minutes, and you can hear it just buzzing over the entire lake, and it's a bit like, well, come on, like, you've had it up, you've done your filming, you don't need to keep sending it up all the time. Obviously, boats are banned on there, which I kind of agree to a degree. It's I think some waters ban them for the weed, for boats getting stuck, which I think is a bit of a thing of the past now with weed guards. But I think a lot of it is anglers going in each other's swims and going out a lot further than they should.
Yeah, taking advantage.
Yeah, they do give you an unfair edge if you abuse what they are, but you can abuse casting further than you should. So that does come down to the angler and not what he's using.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I said this to Mick. I think bait boats are amazing. And I agree. I think I need to move with the times myself and treat myself. I think treat myself. I'm going to have to anyway. But
I'll do you a good deal on my RT4.
good deal. Couldn't afford that. It's me. You buy my car cheaper in your boat. But yeah, so Doug, social media. What do you think? Your views on it?
I think it's good. To be honest, I don't think there's many negatives to social media. I think if you're letting people's comments and opinions affect you, then you shouldn't be on social media. Not in a harsh way, but everybody's a bit thin-skinned these days. And I actually watched something the other day, and they were on about how you could have 500 positive comments, and that one negative is the one that gets to you.
Yeah.
But the likes of, without social media, you wouldn't know what's coming out of lakes.
Mm.
You wouldn't know what areas of the lakes, and on big lakes that can help.
Yeah.
I think social media is a very positive thing. To be honest, it helps people get the catches out there, advertises for businesses for free.
Yeah.
Joins people together.
Mm.
I lost my dog last year. I remember having this conversation with you, and I've met people in Essex and Yateley and France and everywhere, and seeing some of the people who I've now got on social media posting, and bailiffs from Sandhurst remembering my dog from 4 or 5 years ago, and it does show meeting people on sessions how you can all stay together through social media.
Yeah, it was a nice touch. You got a few messages, didn't you?
Yeah,
it was nice that. I remember you ringing me, yeah, and you said that a few people got in touch, and it was a nice, like you say, social media brings you together as well, doesn't it? But yeah, and we all obviously use it for pictures. And Doug's got a nice page. I'll actually put it up on the YouTube and that if you want to check it out.
Well, I thought I'd have a separate one, as we all have on our social media now, because we've all got general people and not just fishing people on Instagram who just want to wake up every day and see pictures of your rods and fish every day. I post quite a lot on mine, so
it's good. It's really good. You've got some really nice fish on there anyway. So yeah, I totally agree that negative, positive. Yeah, I can say on my side I've had more positive than negative. But like you said, you're always going to get that one negative.
Yeah, I think no matter what you're doing, you'll always get that on the bank. It depends how you look at it.
Yeah, I think in my fishing, that's why I sort of kept quiet and started going on my own a lot, because obviously, I don't know, I just like wanted to do my own thing as well when I first started. I just thought if I get too involved in other people's what they're saying, I'd sort of lose track of what I was trying to achieve. But yeah, I think it's good though. So, and that's obviously it's part of the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, like I said, I think the main part of it as well is if you're going to a lake without social media, a lot of the time you won't know what's in there.
Mm.
You can see what's been coming out. You can give yourself target fish. You can kind of get a gist of what areas of lake fish are getting caught at.
That's good, that, because you just mentioned your target, and yeah. So, what is your target this year? Have you got any targets, or are you just trying to enjoy it, or try new things, mate? Or
I'd say my only target is to possibly try and beat my UK PB.
So it's going to be a tough task, that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we've got that trip to Sandhurst at the end of the year. I think that's going to be my only option to try and beat it. But I think that's got it's got close to 20 40s in there now, I think. And one of them is scraping 50 as well. So there's a good stock of fish in there that could beat it easily.
Yeah.
But I'd say that's probably my only target.
It's not a bad target to have.
No.
It's not.
I do class my French PB and my English PB as different PBs, which I know some people don't, but I think it's two different styles of fishing.
Yeah, I'd say I'd agree with that. I've obviously got English and French, and Yeah, I think you well, yeah, I do. I keep them separate as well because,
Yeah.
like you said, I've got a good PB in France, but obviously in England, I don't mind admitting it. I have struggled to get amongst the bingans. But it'll come.
It's I think it's a bit more of a challenge living up north as well. You've got to be committed to that drive to go get them bigger fish.
Mm. Yeah, we're limited
on venues.
yeah. I think you're talking what 2 hours to start getting to the 40s and the 50s maybe.
Shy of willows, yeah, but they're not English fish. So that's another subject of whether you classed a non-English fish caught in England as your PB.
Yeah. Mm. But I'm sure that'll unfold in one way or another.
Yeah.
I think my target, mate, is just to catch probably more fish. Just get
just to get off the mark.
Get more fish on the bank, mate. Yeah, I seem like I put all the effort in, and like I say, I'm not short of catching, obviously, but I just can't get amongst them at the minute. But yeah, Doug's just mentioned his sessions that he's been struggling lately. I've just done a 4 day there, and yeah, never caught anything, but
It happens. It happens.
bloody hope so, mate.
But that was 4 days at one venue, so I'd class that as one blank.
That's what we mentioned. We were laughing about that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take the one blank. I don't want to do 4 sessions. I'll take the one blank session. Well, anyway, I actually someone messaged me yesterday saying it's funny how I say about blanking because I say it's a learning curve. It's not blanking, it's learning. I always say now because once you've blanked as much as I do, it's just a learning curve then. But yeah, I keep telling myself that anyway.
Sometimes you've got to put the hours in for the rewards.
Exactly. But yeah, so I like doing this bit. It's like sort of like a bit of quick fire rounds, and a few people obviously messaged again, and we actually put it on the page. So everyone's who messaged in, we're going to get the questions, old and new. So yeah, so basically, this is a tricky one. A few people a bit stuck on this one, but if carp didn't exist, mate, what would you target?
What would I target?
Would you carry on fishing? Is the question.
To be honest, I don't know if I would.
Nah.
No.
I said tench, mate.
Nah.
I like tench, mate.
When you fish Wellham as much as me, I'll never want another tench in my life.
No, I like him. There's something about him. I just think, yeah, if I didn't do carp fishing, I'd definitely be a tench angler, I think.
Don't get me wrong, I do love fishing in general. I take the little lad and we go float fishing, and it's fun, but you don't get that buzz like you do from a carp, not knowing if it's going to be £5 or £45.
You can't just hang the rods up, can you? You got to.
No, I say I don't know what I'd do, but
I think
I'd probably hit the rivers for the barbel. I think.
Yeah, nice.
I think that'd be my my next one.
Good fish. Fight really well as well, especially in them rivers. So yeah, this is going to be a tricky one for you, Doug. I think if you had to pick one tackle company, let's start with the tackle company. If you had to just keep one tackle company for the rest of your life, who would it be?
So I use a lot of Corda stuff, but their hooks are absolute shit.
I thought you'd.
So I couldn't go with them.
We're going to put the hooks that you use in. Let's.
Yeah, I do love my J Precision hooks.
Yeah.
The strong. I've never had one open up on me. The razor sharp. I've been using them for a few years now. I've seen a lot of people on Sandhurst using them Kamakuras, and they get a hook pull and they come in and that hook's straight, or the point's bent over. It's a lot of hours to spend sitting behind rods for that bite if the hook's not going to hold.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say Nash. I think they've got a good variety of mixed products. So
yeah. Well, I think I know the answer to this, mate, but I'll answer it anyway. I'll ask it anyway. One bait company, mate.
RG.
Yeah, I thought it'd be RG. See, I didn't use RG till a while back, so I think mentioned 2 years ago I started, and yeah, I really like RG now, and I think Doug mentioned it to me, and so did a few other people, and yeah, Doug's, like I say, I'm looking around now. There's RG gear everywhere. So
It does smell a bit like the crab in here.
yeah, it does. It does. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a nice little display on show as well. So
I'd say in my 13 years, I started like everyone does on the mainline cell. I used quite a lot of the Nutribaits back when they used to roll the Blue Oyster.
good bit.
Yeah, if they were still rolling Blue Oyster, I would still be using that. But yeah, since going on RG, I've smashed a lot of PBs. There's not a lake I've took it to that I've struggled with. I found that you can't get a bite on it. So
yeah, no, it is a good bit. Yeah, actually, same again. I rang Doug and started this year. I got a fish called 6 scale out, and he said, "What did you get it on?" I said, "Oh well, got it on the crab." And when I told obviously the owner, no one actually uses it in there. So, and I've actually caught that same fish twice.
I was going to say it proves it likes it because you had it two trips in a row now.
And it hadn't been out for I think it was 16 months. I think so, and I've had it twice in a month. And still, it hasn't been out for no one else, so it must like.
You might have to switch over from the crab if it happens again.
It might like it. That's the only 2 fish I've actually caught this year. So, well, same fish. But yeah, it's a good bait. I like it. And I actually rang Doug when I was in France. I said, "Have you ever heard of Nutribaits?" And he actually told me, yeah. And I was actually using Nutribaits because the boilies actually provided when you get there. So I actually took my RG bait over there with obviously Nutribaits and yeah, bigger boilies and little boy. I use 12 millers normally. So yeah, it seemed to work well in Nutribaits. I agree with Doug again. It was a good bait. I really like it. So I think that's leading on to this as well, mate. If you had to use obviously boilies or particles, I sort of know the answer. I think, mate.
Yeah, I think it just have to be boilie for me. I think the bigger fish just prefer the boilies. As much as I do use a lot more particle now, I use my bait boat.
Yeah,
because it's easier to get it out there. It attracts a lot more nuisance fish, and I think they can get a bit preoccupied on the particle.
Yeah.
Compared to just putting your boilie out. I mean, you don't just have to fish boilie in one way. You can chop it, you can crumb it. I've even just crumbed it up and used it in solid bags before. But I'd definitely just have to go with boilie.
Boilie. Car particle buckets were sat on here actually. We're doing a podcast on buckets at the minute, so yeah, he's got a salty maize in it.
Yeah,
I think I'll have to nick a bucket of that.
Yeah, it's ready for France in a couple of weeks' time. That
nice. Oh yeah, he's actually got a France. When is it, June?
Beginning 2nd of June. Yeah,
nice.
Then back to work for about 6-7 weeks. Then we go over.
Oh, can't wait. But right. If you had to catch a common or a mirror, mate?
Mirror. Easiest question.
Yeah?
Yeah. Commons are, they're nice, but they're just too all the same for me. I like, you can't beat a jet black scaly mirror.
Yeah, some nice ones there, aren't there?
Yeah, I've had...
I like that one you got from France, lovely dark, scaly.
Yeah, it was... I know you go over to France for them chunks, and that one only went, I think it was £21, but it's a good looking fish, that armadillo. I had not that people can see the photos right now, but that one in front of you, that's a £27 fully scaled from the quarry.
Yeah.
And the apple slice above it.
Some lovely fish. They will actually be coming, obviously, at the minute. We're obviously recording audio, so all the pictures will be coming up that we're talking about on the YouTube. So everyone will get to see some of these amazing carp that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, you see like starburst patterns and full linears, and I think they're just a lot better to look at than your fully scaled common.
Yeah, some new unique patterns in there with the mirrors.
Yeah, but I wouldn't turn down a jet black common either.
Definitely not. This one came in again, black and white carpet. Yeah, your most expensive thing you've dropped in a lake, mate.
Well, define dropped. We've already had the discussion of the rods and alarms being pulled in.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I did drop an iPhone in the lake, and that's still in there. Yeah, I was putting a fish back at the resi, and it slid out my pocket, and I'd seen the Apple logo disappear. But you're talking, that was Apple's first ever square phones. I think it was like the iPhone 4 back in the day. Bit of a repeat pattern in France, actually. About 7 years ago, I lost a rod there again. I dropped my rig off the side of the boat and I was baiting up, and when I turned around on my boat, I actually knocked my rod off the side of the boat. And them gin clear margins are a lot deeper than what you expect. I think it was about 10, 11 foot. And the bail line was wide open, so even when I went down and got hold of the line, I didn't really help myself because I still couldn't pull the rod up without emptying my spool.
But you got it back?
I got it, yeah. I've always, other than the phone, I've always got tackle back.
No, it was a good question sent in. I actually we don't obviously rehearse anything. It's all off the cuff. This, so
that's just I think Sutton will have a little giggle at that one, but he probably knew the answer to that one.
Yeah, it was good. It's good getting questions in off people, and obviously it was nice that people send them in. So yeah, we appreciate it. We always open it up as well to people if everyone asks a question. Well, I think Doug's already answered this as well, but we'll go again because this is in the quick fire. Obviously, we talked about the UK 40 and overseas 60 and why, but I think you've told us, haven't you, mate? You've said that you've think UK.
Yeah. I think it's more the effort and how rewarding you are.
Not that big scaly 60.
Wouldn't do much for me.
Oh.
If you look at the general size of, especially for us Northerners, if you look at the size of what we're catching on a regular basis, it's not unheard of for most people to go over to France and catch for 50 on every trip. Whereas, well, in I think nearly 13, 14 years, I've had a good amount of 30s, a good amount of high 30s, but I've still only had that 140.
Yeah, it does. When you start adding it up and over the years and how many people have caught the UK 40, it is a tricky number to conquer, isn't it?
Especially like I mentioned earlier, a true UK 40, an English bred carp is a lot of UK lakes now are bringing over like these Croatian crosses, and they're getting bigger, but they've not got the history that a lot of these old Yateley 40s have. And I think maybe I've just got something for Yateley.
Yeah. I've never been, mate. I'll be honest. So I haven't really experienced many places in England yet. I will get there eventually.
I think that the history of it goes back a bit more probably before you even fished. I think the first time I was in Gaz Ferrum was probably when he released the Northern Specials and stuff, and I seen him using them on a Sandhurst video, and the likes of Nigel's fishing Sandhurst, and a lot of the videos on the old Pads Lake and everything. There's a lot more to it that a lot of modern anglers probably don't watch or know about now.
Yeah. I think he's a hell of an angler as well, Gaz. I think he sort of goes under the radar, but the carp he catches are just incredible. I
mean, if you watch topography, he's gone a bit more overseas as well now, same as like Jim Shelley, and I think a lot of them are writing the UK off.
Yeah. It does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does. It's going for them canals, the canal carp. But as well, Henry Lennon just had an absolute blinder out there again. I think his target was a 50-pound canal. I think he smashed it in his first trip. I think off the top of my head, I think that's right. Yeah, it does seem to be the way forward. These Belgium canals, and
might have to be on the cards for next year for us.
Definitely, I'll be up for that. Like my 40th as well, is it? Yeah,
maybe that or a bit further away, but.
Do you prefer, right, jumping on the questions again, days or nights, mate? Day session or nights? You have to pick one.
I do like my night sessions. I don't spend a lot of time in the day fishing.
Yeah, you don't? No.
Like I say, most of my sessions are 12 hours after work, and I feel you get more bites at night time. They spend a lot of the time cruising about in the sun through the day, and it's a lot of wasted hours compared to when they're a lot more active and feeding at night. And with having young kids, I get a full night's sleep, if not.
Yeah, so that's a bonus, isn't it? It is. Yeah, so I'm starting to lean towards nights. I didn't mind going the day, but for some reason, once the sun starts going down now, I feel like, I mentioned this when I was talking myself, I feel like I get more bites in it, like you're saying there, on the night.
Yeah.
It seems like I don't really catch during the day, to be honest.
Yeah, so, if you haven't got time to build an area up, I think quick sessions, I think nights are probably your best bet.
Yeah, it's a good one. That it's a good one. Right, we've got to ask this dream venue, Doug. What would it be?
Lake Bled. It's
Yeah,
quite an easy one. I've been looking into it a lot.
apparently it's getting harder to get on.
Yeah, I think it's not a cheap trip either.
Mm.
That's the thing. I think a lot of it comes down to how fussy you are if you want to take your own gear, because if so, it's a long drive. It's expensive to fly gear over there.
Yeah,
I know they do like holiday packages and stuff, but I mean, I think it's about £48 a day to even fish there now.
is it?
For your license? Yeah.
Wow.
So if you're doing a week, it's quite an expensive trip to add up by the time you get there.
Yeah, it'd be up there with mine. Like, to be honest, dream venue.
But it's going to happen.
Mm.
It's not a question, that one. It's on the cards.
I think it's just the scenes in it, and
yeah, not just that, just the fish in general are
Yeah.
just crazy. I'd say Pads Lake as well, the Yateley Pads Lake.
yeah,
I know a lot of the originals aren't in there anymore. It's a very small water, but it's somewhere I've always fancied going. I think for such a little lake, it holds a lot of history.
what's have you got any moments? I've got one of your moments, scary or funny moment. We'll end on that, mate.
Scary or funny?
Yeah, scary or funny, mate. I think you mentioned a few times you've had to avoid rats as well, haven't you, mate?
Yeah. Even Sandhurst last week, waking up with that mouse chewing a pop up on my bivvy table about a foot away from my face wasn't too nice.
Is that the chewed up one, that?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought you actually
No.
I thought you shaved that down. I thought it looked like a set of teeth.
No, I thought before bed I'll get one tied up ready. I didn't put it in a bag, but I had a fresh rig with a pop up on ready. I was sat there, I could hear this tapping. I was thinking, it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. What's tapping? And I couldn't find my bivvy light, but I just see these little eyes glowing right next to my face.
Yeah, how mad's that? It's mad that, because I actually looked at that pop up before Doug's even mentioned that, and I thought, what's he done there? I thought he just scraped it off to be a little bit different. But yeah, there you go.
I'd say my only scary moments were fishing Albert Park. Bit of a rough place. I think I did over 30 nights in there.
Yeah. Fair play, mate. It's not.
I've woke up to drunk people urinating on the back of my brolly on the way back from town.
Right.
So it was a very eventful place, but
I think Alan Blair did one, didn't he? Then he did one night.
He didn't even do a night.
Did he?
No. I think the video actually got released on YouTube, but Nash never really did anything with it. I don't think Alan felt safe enough to stay for more than about 4 hours. Yeah, thinking back now, for a young lad to be fishing in there on his own most nights wasn't my best idea, but for £3 for 24 hours, you couldn't go wrong.
Oh, it's a bargain.
Yeah.
It's a bargain. It's just a risk if you're going to wake up with it. But nah, yeah. There's some nice fishing there, though.
Yeah, but
Mad.
Your barrow had to be flat packed and under your bed. Your net handle had to be tucked under your bed. You couldn't leave anything out.
Nah, it's not the dream venue like Lake Bled, is it?
No, it was. You spent more time awake worrying about your car through the night than you did fishing.
Yeah, but anyway, mate, it's absolutely been a pleasure, and I hope everyone enjoys it. And obviously, the photos will be up. And yeah, just remember, it's all about the journey. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.